I can't fucking do it.
Can't do what?
You okay?
I can't do the intro.
Why not?
Because that fucking transition on our end.
Oh my god. This is your fault, though.
You did this!
Oh, I know. Hello, Internet. I am SneakyDevil, and this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater
He's drunk
9002.
already.
I am not drunk. I haven't even touched any alcohol today. I probably will want to by the time we get into
You
this.
listen.
I
You've
have
achieved
not
a
touched
state of
anything.
alcoholism where, by osmosis, you can drain bottles of alcohol in your presence just slowly get emptier as it's absorbed into your system.
I take offense
that's
to that.
just see that's his stand.
That's my
His stand goes
Fuck
drinks the alcohol.
you.
It just drinks the alcohol right out of the unopened bottle. It's quicker.
I hate both of you.
Hey, people, how's that for our first piece of fan art?
No, Jesus Christ, please don't.
Hang on, is there a rock song based off that?
Off alcoholism? It's a rock band. Of
Um.
course there is. Or if not, we can get like a metal rock band.
Alright, Sneaky, I
Close
found it.
enough.
It's an AC/DC song. Have a drink on me.
Oh my god.
The drunker he gets, the more powerful his stand becomes.
I hate you all.
Of course, all it does is let it get more alcohol, but it's a self-perpetuating stand. Eventually, it just reaches the point where it's like its base form is just powerful enough to knock people out just by breathing on them.
My, in another Discord I'm in, my name has been changed to Enlightened Alcoholic Rage.
Fairly accurate. Unpleasant, but accurate.
Hello, Isley. Hello, Shota Isley. I appreciate you dragging...
Oh, did Shota Isley show up?
Yes, yes. The, alternative personality of Isley has appeared.
Do we need to call CPS?
So, let us jump right on into it. You know, with both feet on the ground and not removing our asses from the chair. So, we have quite a few new fics we can cover today. We got some Harry Potter fics that are downright cringy. We got some worm fics that are potentially downright cringy. And,
do me a favor. From now on, okay, listen, we're gonna make an official call here.
Mm-hmm.
From now on, everything on this show is asterisked with probably gonna be cringy.
Yes.
Okay?
This is a good,
I'm just gonna save Sneaky like 200 hours of his life cumulatively.
That's probably true enough. So then we also have web shows worm crossover.
Web shows?
Now you might be asking, why is there a web shows section? And that's really easy to answer. Thank you for asking. Completely not me. This is how it should have ended. The villains from how it should have ended. Teaching Taylor how to be evil.
Huh?
Yeah. So I think we'll start off with this one, and we'll just work our way down. And of course, as always, the links to the fanfictions can be found in the Discord, which is in the paneling down below. And I would be remiss if I did not make sure to remind you all that as per Twitch guidelines, you are not to contact...
the guidelines of common decency.
Well, that's dependent on where you are. But as per Twitch guidelines, you are not to contact any of the authors we feature in this here podcast, as that constitutes harassment. Yay.
That there be harassment, and that's bad. But seriously, it's bad. Don't
I see. Shota Isley has been killed by Isley. Gotta cover up the evidence. I understand.
Well,
You
Isley.
know, Isley, you're not doing yourself any favors in convincing me that you're not just, the Vorman girl from Vampire the Masquerade at this point. Like, one side of your hair is just long, the other is just like a boy's crew cut.
So, anyway. Author's note. This story, by the way, is called Evil and Ham. The summary is: in one world, Taylor Herbert became a villain by accident. In another world, Taylor gets mentoring in villainy. Author's note. No, you did not misread the summary. Yes, I did do this. Will I do more? Perhaps. In any case, enjoy the story of how Taylor Herbert, learned what it meant to be a real supervillain from the experts. Evil and Ham, Chapter 1. Sounds like a crappy porno setup. Probably. Taylor wasn't sure where she was. The last thing she had remembered was choking on that filth. That the trio had shoved her into. The young teen shuddered as the feeling of wet garbage sliding all over her flashed as bugs climbed around her body. Okay, again, it's been shit. This is 2019 now. It's been 5 years since I've read that goddamn story now.
I was just say less for me, but that's because
it's been a while, is what my point is. But I am fairly certain that the fanon, this is all fanon, and that somehow she is coated in tampons. Because last I checked, they just were dumped into the bottom of the locker, and all the bugs and crap started like festering in them, and she got shoved into that, and then she threw up on herself. But the way you're describing it here, author, is that the inside of the entire locker was somehow coated in it. Which, I mean, it's possible. It's just been a while, but it's just, I feel like I see that too much. I feel. I know. I feel like this is fanon. I feel like this is just another fanon trope, that like somehow the entire inner locker was just coated in it.
I would say, like, here's the thing, right? The amount of effort it would take to coat a locker in filth.
There were used tampons in it, but there was other stuff as well. Were there other stuff? I thought it was just used tampons.
I think it was just waste in general, like hygiene waste in general.
I don't know what a
like
girl's
what, they
hygiene.
just went into a locker room and emptied it
Well,
in there?
they just supposedly what they did is they went into the bathrooms of Winslow and just emptied the female waste bags into the trash.
Well, then in theory, it should have just been a bunch of disgusting tampons.
From how it was described, it sounds like whoever did it more just upended the girl's trash can into the locker. So I really don't. That's my point though. Is I don't really think that there'd be like blood and trash and crap on the top of the locker. Like she's like, oh, it's the wet garbage sliding over her flesh across her body. It's like they're trying to be visceral in this, and I know I'm nitpicking here, but it's just the bugs though. Yeah, that's fine. She remembered screaming for help until her voice went sore as her fists were covered in caked blood from smashing them against her locker door, and then nothing. Let's see. Taylor pushed herself off the cold stone floor and took a look at her surroundings. She appeared to be in some kind of room. A solid stone door stood behind her just above some stairs, while another door lay in front of her. Okay, so it's a stone room with doors. You didn't really need to go into that fanciful detail. Stone room with doors. Say stone room. I don't know. This is just me nitpicking, but I tend to get irritated when authors try and like describe rooms when the room does not need to be described in the slightest. Is that just me, or is that?
might just be you. I'm not really sure.
I don't know. I mean, there's moments where I'm vindicated. Where remember back in the early days, where we had that one author who spent like the entire first chapter describing Naruto's penthouse sized, gymnasium-sized room that
With the
had
kick-ass, like,
bunk bed,
bunk
king
bed.
beds.
Come
Yeah.
on, that man. Those are some cool beds.
I mean, I'm not knocking the beds. I was just, laughing about how like an entire chapter was taken up by just describing a room. It depends on how the lockers are set up. There's one. Well, see, the thing is, Isley, is that this is American lockers we're talking about, so they're usually pretty cheap. And
Oh, they are excessively cheap.
of all of the lockers that I've ever used in the American educational system, I don't think I've ever had one with a shelf.
This is gonna sound ridiculous, but I went to one of them fancy schools, so I did.
Yeah. As a person who did not, in fact, exit the public education system, we did not have shelves. Also, shelves would likely have hindered the ability for them to shove her into the locker, so it was likely an unshelved locker. Knocking into the locker panel could knock stuff loose. I know mine had a single shelf towards the top. Yeah, like I said though, it's the main problem with having a shelf in the locker would be that the available height to fit a person
to be
inside
fair, if
it.
you don't care about the person who's going in the locker, you can just stuff them in there. Like,
Well, yeah, but the issue is that this is public educational system, so the lockers are going to be about half of my width.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say. Well, here's my question: did you have because the freshmen got the worst lockers? Did you have the ones that were like barely a textbooks width across and had like a teeny shelf at the top? Because that's what we had.
I had everything like that you just described, but the shelf part. I made shelves with my books and then put like more books on top of those. But what my point being though is that we actually have pictures of the lockers that he was thinking of, and you can fit a person that is sufficiently thin into them. But if there was a shelf that was meant for books in those lockers, you would not be able to fit someone who is 6 foot whatever that Taylor is into that locker.
6 foot.
She's tall. She's very tall.
I think isn't she like 5'10" or something at the best?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think 6 is a little generous there, buddy.
I don't know. Height. Wow. So fucking useless. Ain't no height. Wow. So fucking useless. Ain't no height.
Did he ever explicitly?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't think he ever explicitly stated those kind of measurements.
No, Taylor did describe herself as a lanky beanpole, though.
Yeah, but considering it taking into account
Ah,
average
at the
height,
start of the story, yeah, here we go. She was approximately 5'6" at the start of the story. Okay. I still think a
Okay.
shelf would have really
Now,
hindered.
granted, 5'6" is tall for a girl.
That's fair. That's true. Yeah.
eh,
I still think a shelf would have hindered trying to shove Taylor, like, because it wasn't like they were like pushing her in. They just like pushed her and she fell in, and then they closed the door. It wasn't like they were trying to jam her in like luggage in a fucking airplane.
Right.
5'6" is tall. I mean, it's tall if you're female. Yeah. My mother's like 5. She comes up to my like shoulders. So, anyway.
Average, yeah, alright, yeah, average height is roughly 5'4", give or take.
Blah blah, to stone room. Hello, anyone here? Identify yourself. Blah blah blah. Facing a device. Red lens.
Like, I was about to say, and I need people to not ask questions for this, but listen, I know the average heights for guys and girls.
Okay.
There's a very good reason for it that doesn't involve body bags.
No, I'm fairly certain it involves body bags.
promise you no body
Identify
bags were
yourself. Now you're just being cheap.
I promise you no murder was involved.
Okay, well, there's a lot of other ways you can do it. Identify yourself, blah blah blah. I am Taylor, can you let me out of here? Blah blah, pause, blah blah. I'm afraid I can't do that, Taylor. Blah
What?
blah blah.
I'm sorry. Who's in this locker? Identify yourself. Hi, my name's Taylor. Could you let me out?
Remember, she is now in a stone room with stone doors, and there is Hal guarding the door.
Oh yeah, stone doors. I'm sorry, do you have
honestly,
any idea the colossal amount of effort a stone door requires from a human being?
well, not if you've got it weighted properly.
Anyway, yes, go on, Max.
Well, Isley is apparently drawn from Atin's knowledge of average heights that Atin must be a thigh fetishist.
Interesting.
What?
I'd like to know the logic that brought her to this conclusion.
As we continue on.
Yes. I will keep an eye on this.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Taylor. Well, this establishment is a closely guarded secret. I can't allow you to compromise the integrity. Blah blah. I won't tell anyone, I promise. Promises are organic to me. I was joking about being Hal. It's literally Hal. Blah 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 blah. Oh my god, I'm going to die. And then something came through the doorway. What's this now?
Isley has a gift for knowing these things. Okay, Isley.
She tried
Listen,
to back
Isley,
away.
I can promise you that's not it. I can promise you you're not gonna guess what it is.
Isley had a second guess, apparently.
Oh, what's the second guess?
Feet.
It was either that or feet.
No!
Honestly, there's quite a number of fetishes I can just shake my head at and move on. Feet fetishes are by far some of the more disturbing ones I've seen.
Like, that is... like, I'm not gonna say it's like it's not like cake farting or whatever.
Oh,
but...
Jesus Christ, that fetish... See, that's actually surprisingly one I can just shake my head at and move on. But, like...
But no. The answer to it is still no, Isley. You're wrong about both of them.
Hardly unusual. No, it's still pretty fucking unusual.
I was gonna say, the big spooky reason is I did costuming.
He's good. Let's see, blah blah blah. What's this now? Taylor managed to pull herself out of her fear-fueled berserk attacks long enough to turn her head towards the new speaker, even as her captor said something she couldn't understand, and she found herself face to face with a pale man dressed in black robes. The man's eyes glared at her. She locked onto his nose, or lack of nose. It's Voldemort. And Taylor's mind shut down and she fainted.
I'm sorry. Voldemort's going to be her mentor to be an evil villain?
Yes.
He's one of the worst.
He's actually one of the worst. This is
He's
factual.
terrible at it. He lost to a literal baby. Listen, if we're gonna do this, let's make it. Either we make it someone like Palpatine, who successfully created and executed a long-term evil plan, or we make it someone like Voss, so it's funny.
I feel like you're forgetting that these are how it should have ended
Yeah,
incarnations of them.
These are how it should have ended.
So none of those are good choices.
Okay. The fact that they're like, this is the how it should have ended version is even dumber.
Yeah.
That was explained at the start of the chapter.
I know, but I forgot that. And I'll admit that I forgot that.
Yeah, oh my god, we need to work on both of your memory problems. The two of you.
I don't have memory
Listen
problems. I
here,
don't
I
forget
remember
anything
things
ever.
I care about. Like, I remember your name. I remember both yours and Sneaky's fake names and your real names and when to use them.
Wait, Max's name isn't Max?
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, when I had to explain to my parents the difference between his real name and his fake internet name, they were very confused.
I mean, it doesn't help that I also took Max as a nickname back in elementary school.
Wait, hold on a minute. From what I know about your real name, why in God's green earth did you take Max as a nickname?
Oh, some cunt of a kid was trying to make fun of it from a cartoon back in the 90s. Said, actually, that's a really dope name. Thanks for the new nickname.
See, now you gotta have kids, and you gotta make sure your kids have kids, so then you can become Grandpa Max, and you gotta live the rest of your life in Hawaiian shirts.
Oh my god.
You should be shot if I didn't like that idea so much.
You can't let this opportunity pass up.
Oh.
Isekai Quartet was meh. Yeah, no, that was my reaction.
I'll go into
to it.
proper details after the stream is off.
Of course.
It does include some personal info, but
Yeah.
But listen. In all seriousness, do you know how long it took me to remember, like, the roommates that I didn't care about their names?
Dude, I don't even remember my roommates' names.
I remember my first 3
Like,
roommates.
My final
That's
year, right?
In fact, there was even a kid in my class who was a reasonably nice kid. And the only reason I could his name was Garrett. And the only reason I could ever remember that he was Garrett was because we met in the gaming class and he was like, "Don't call me Gary Oak." And so I immediately put him in my phone as Gary Oak.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Andrew, high five.
No, actually, I made it slightly worse because I put it in as Gary motherfucking Oak.
I think everyone did that to him.
I would not be surprised, but regardless. And then eventually I went from remembering him as Gary to Garrett when we eventually became friends and I decided I needed to learn his real name. But, like, for, like, the first half of the semester, I just knew him as Gary.
Like,
even though I knew that he explicitly disliked it because I could remember his name.
Yeah, that's fair. I had 3 roommates in my final year, right? I don't remember any of their names. I didn't remember their names while I was there either. I knew the guy next to me as the vegan league player. I knew the guy.
All I heard was makes terrible life choices.
He really did. He was a dick. And that's me saying it.
Okay, no, hold on a minute. You think a lot of people make terrible life choices when they in fact make better life choices. Not your sister though. Never your sister.
He was just a dick all around. Like, oh my god, so many pubes. So many pubes everywhere.
I'm sorry, so many what?
Pubic hairs.
What? Did this fucker not know how to clean up after himself?
No, he didn't. And then the 2 guys across from me, one was keyboard dude, because he always played on this fucking,
mechanical?
Synthetic keyboard.
Synthetic?
Like, the musical instrument.
Oh! Okay, look, I was like...
okay.
What, did he have a mechanical keyboard?
No, I had the mechanical keyboard. And then the other guy, was Dirty Pan Dude. because he left his fucking dirty pans in the sink for several weeks straight all the time until I dumped them into his bed.
I'd love to see that.
He fucking came screaming out of his room, yelling at me, and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the fact that you left them in the fucking sink for 3 weeks. Yeah, he didn't try that again.
3 weeks? Oh god, they were moldy and growing. How close were they to forming their own artificial colonies?
I don't know.
Probably closer than you would like.
Have you met the Shota before? I was asking details, Sneaky. Details on what? Anyway,
Wait,
I told
have
you.
we met the Shota? No, we haven't
no.
met the Shota because you haven't even proved that you exist or that you're a girl, and you certainly haven't proved that you have a younger sibling.
Exactly. I told you this was a scary look, Voldemort said with a smiling sneer. How do you
Smiling
smile?
sneer.
How the fuck do you smile and sneer?
I don't know. Oh, apparently, Sniper Elite 2 is getting remastered for $10.
Details on pubic hair guy. He had long hair.
Hold on a minute, Isley.
He played League. He ate vegan food. He didn't know how to cook. I don't know what else to say.
He ate vegan food, but he didn't know how to cook. Like, all vegan food has to be, unless he just like ate raw lumps of tofu, which is its own level of disgusting.
Yeah, his parents just would send it food.
That's pathetic.
Whatever. I might know pubic hair guy. Small world. Wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, no, we all shared a bathroom. And I arrived first at that place. For a month. I was there for a month. Completely clean floors. He shows up within a week. There's now a pathway in our bathroom where the tides of pubic hair have parted, leading to the toilet and to the shower. And the drain would clog every 2 weeks.
Oh god, it must have been like living with a girl, only worse because it was pubic. Like, exclusively pubic.
And I'm just like... And then
was he like shedding it, or was he like consciously removing it? I gotta know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to know.
I'm not sure which is worse.
And then his parents came by one time to like check up to see if he was okay or some stupid shit, because he's only a senior in his second semester of college, and his parents are still checking up on him monthly.
I mean, if they live nearby, I can understand that.
But they came by and they saw the pubic hair, and they're just like... They just kind of looked away and shuffled forward. It's just like, okay. Did a great job raising your kid.
Like, I will say this. To Nosehair's parents' credit, when they discovered their son was living in squalor, they were like, get your shit together, son. Like, credit to them for that.
Nah, yeah. Yeah, too bad they ended up raising him, though. Unfortunate that.
They kept it. Okay, look. You go ahead and look at, like, a small baby rabbit, and you go ahead and brutally murder it in the crib.
Okay.
That was not a...
It's not an invitation.
That was meant to show your humanity.
What? You've known me for 5, 6, 7 years now? No. 5. You've known me for 5 years now.
Oh god, I have known you for 5 years.
Anyway. Voldemort almost did a victory jig. After being mocked so long for his appearance, someone still recognized him as terrifying. Please,
Well,
I
no, I
could
mean,
have
here's
done
the
the
thing,
same
right? If I ran
thing.
across a noseless dude, I'd be like, for the first time, I'd be like, oh, that's spooky. And then, like, after a little while, I'd be like, yeah, I'm used to it now, right?
Please, I
It's
could have...
like, here's the thing, right? Palpatine got less scary over time because you're like, oh, he's just a wrinkly old man. Like, and here's the thing, Voldemort, I'm sorry, but, like, not having a nose is not that unique.
Makes it hard to snort cocaine, too. Please, I could have done the same thing, and I didn't have to lose my nose to do it, Loki said with a roll of his eyes. Asgardian tricksters, blah blah blah, the girls hanging from Bowser's rip, blah blah blah. Maybe if your appearance wasn't so terrifying, why... Wait, oh really? If your appearance is so terrifying, why aren't you wearing all of it? What? Voldemort asked with a sharp glint as he gestured to Loki's exposed skull. I don't remember. I look. I am vaguely familiar with how it should have ended, with like watching maybe 4 or 5 episodes of it 3 years ago.
Like, I'll
But
tune in
I
every
don't.
once in a while when I know they're gonna mock something, like when they're mocking Solo.
Oh, did they? How was that one?
I mean, they made fun of it, like, got what I wanted out of it, which was someone to make fun of Solo for being a garbage Star Wars movie.
Yeah, Nexus. This is a how it should have ended villains. Tutor Taylor on how to be a villain. It's supposed to be a parody comedy story. So far, none of us have laughed or smiled.
You know, we the laughs and smiles were not due to the story; they were due to the tangents we've been on.
Yes, that is true enough. Blah 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 blah. Cut off by a sharp crack of Palpatine's voice. Enough. You
Solo
can argue
is
later.
still better than Rogue One. What?
What?
Whoa. Rogue One is still better than Solo. Solo, oh, it was terrible. Rogue One was boring shit. Okay, I can't disagree with you on that. Still better than Solo.
Look, here's the thing, right? Rogue One was a disappointment because since we knew that they
retconned Rogue
someone
One.
like Kyle Katarn and they hadn't thrown out the expanded universe, we could have become emotionally invested in those characters because we knew they were gonna live.
Unfortunately, we also had a quote like, a lot of people died to get this, so we already knew, oh yeah, odds are anyone they introduce here is gonna fucking die. Because they didn't name one of them Kyle fucking Katarn.
Oh wow! Hey guys, look, it's filler! Oh, look at all these new characters! I'm sure they won't all die painful deaths!
By the end of this 2-hour film...
Not their brightest moment. I mean...
Well, especially because half of the entire premise of that movie relies on you caring about them.
Yeah.
And it's like, the worst part is, I wanted to care about those characters because they were legitimately well-written characters, most of them. But I knew they were dying. Because they threw out the expanded universe and didn't name any of them, like, certain...
Okay,
They didn't name them Kyle Katarn or Jan Ors.
Actually, guys, I think we can use Calvin here as the normiometer. Where we get the idea of what a normie thinks of the Star Wars universe.
Oh, no. Don't do that to him.
Well, he is the designated normie now.
Quick, we need that picture from the Emperor's text-to-speech device. Who is this normal and why did you let him in here?
He's so normie, he doesn't know what normie means.
Ooh, and you claim to spend time on the internet.
It probably doesn't help that, he's German as well. I expect
Oh,
English
please.
is
American culture is
second.
ubiquitous everywhere. We've
And you can't try to tell us we aren't. We know we've infiltrated everything important.
But anyway, so point being is that Calvin gives us the normie opinion on Solo, which is to anyone unaware of everything about Star Wars, it was a good movie.
Actually, no, didn't it do terribly even with the casual crowd?
Oh, it did
Yeah, no.
absolutely awful. But that was because all those people who went and watched The Last Jedi were like, I'm not watching more Star Wars movies, and didn't go and watch the new Star Wars movie with
Yeah.
Solo.
Well, and here's my problem, right? They took a lot of the good stuff from Han's like original origin story, and then they did stupid things with it.
Yeah.
Han grew up on Corellia, working as a criminal. Okay, but he was the pickpocket instead of what they did in the expanded universe, where they're like, we need to come up with a reason for Han to be a kick-ass pilot. Okay, we'll make it so that he illegally raced swoop bikes and stole them.
Yes. And
the reason he speaks Wookiee is because he was raised by a Wookiee who felt sorry for him.
And the reason why his name is Solo in the movie is because the guy was like, oh, I guess you're all alone. You're Han Solo. Lando is a pansexual and mates with droids. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing was dumb too.
Yeah, that was.
Yes, Calvin,
Also,
in the expanded universe, Han Solo was raised by a Wookiee.
On top of that, I love how they retconned in that the pansexual droid has actually been the Millennium Falcon the whole time.
And then it's like, oh, well, why did he join the... how did he get his actual pilot skills? Well, he joined the Imperial Academy. Because he, much like Luke Skywalker at the beginning of the movie, was suckered in by the propaganda.
Also, that was like the only way to advance in your life outside your planet.
Yeah. Especially for someone like him on Corellia with no prospects. And he did so well that he became an Imperial officer. And then he left when he was put in charge of piloting a Wookiee slave convoy, which is where he met Chewie, and it's why a bunch of Wookiees actually feel like they owe Han a lot. Because either they or some member of their extended family are like, you kept us from being worked to death on the Death Star. Thank you.
Also,
Wookiees
you know,
take life threats very seriously.
Also,
Yeah.
you know, they take the slavery thing pretty seriously too.
Well, yes, but like, in theory, most normal forms of slavery a Wookiee can get away from.
Well, yes, but
Because they're a Wookiee.
I mean, but in general, their opinions towards slavery.
Oh, well, yeah, because it happens all the time because of the Trandoshans.
Yes.
Stupid lizards.
Just like I still, that's one thing I like about Wookiees. Like, you make a friend with a Wookiee, you made a friend for life, so long as you're not a cunt to them.
No! There's even, like, depending on what the circumstances are, there's a certain level of assholishness the Wookiees will tolerate. Like, I'm not gonna rip your arms off because your wife just died. However, I am going to tell you that I'm mad, which should be enough to tell you to shut up.
Sneaky Max Atin. I would have paid money to see the SMA corrected version of Solo.
Well, no, here's the thing, right?
That's
We
the
don't
thing.
want to make corrected versions of them. We want them to go back to the original expanded universe
Well,
and
see,
look for all the stuff that's actually good. Because don't get me wrong,
well, no, because the problem
there's
is
a
the reason
massive
why
amount of nonsense in there.
the reason why they dumped a lot of that stuff is because they didn't want to have to pay any of the authors who wrote that content. Like,
No, that's not how that
actually
works. No, Sneaky, that's not how licensing works.
royalties, yeah, if they use that
No,
content.
no, it's not. For the overwhelming majority of these authors, when they write a Star Wars book, they go, okay, we're going to write a Star Wars... LucasArts says, we want you to write a Star Wars book. And they go,
Right.
okay. And then part of that agreement is you get to write a Star Wars book and write for a massive audience,
Right.
You have no rights to the book after you finish it, and you will be paid a flat fee.
Okay.
Because
so
normally
that was my only justification as to why they got rid of the EU. So what you're telling me is they had
they literally
shitloads.
threw out the EU because they didn't want it. It quite literally came down to we don't want to deal with it, which in some respects I do understand, because at that point it was what, a 50+ year thing.
Yeah. No, I get that, but it's like that is they literally if what you're saying is correct, and I don't doubt it, they
So
had the
thing,
rights to the EU. All of
it. Yes, because now I will say this: I don't know if this is the case for all of it, but all of this came out because so back when the Republic Commando books were being written,
right?
This is when the new Clone Wars series was coming out.
Right.
And right when Karen Traviss wrote the 5th book, the 501st book.
Yeah, it was the 5th of the Republic Commando series.
Right.
Then now the Imperial Commando series.
Yeah, it had then become the Imperial Commando series, and it was great. The problem was, right after that book was published, the episode where the Mandalorians were made pacifists came out, and so LucasArts went to her and they said, okay, the stuff you're doing is great, people like your book, there's a canon problem. So either you can retrofit your canon to fit the new canon, or you can just stop the series. And Traviss instead chose to stop the series.
That's fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, because she and like at least half a dozen other authors had been working on that Mandalorian history for like 6 years at that point.
But that's what that is why I'm so confused though. Like this is I don't want to say social justice warrior, but at the same time, it's like I feel like it is.
No, it has nothing to do with social justice. Like,
no,
because here's the thing.
It's not. I'm not saying it has to do with the social justice warriors, the philosophy. I'm saying the people involved, like this mentality that they have. There is literal content that they have been handed on a silver platter that millions of fans like.
That millions of fans would have paid millions of dollars to see on the big screen.
They don't have to hire a writer. They don't have to hire anything for this. This is tried and tested content that shitloads of people people would love to see. You know, either as a game or a movie or more books or as a comic or action thing. Literally handed on a silver platter. Tried and tested true content that people want, and the response is no, we don't want that. We want to make our own thing, and that is what baffles me. As a person who likes meritocracy and as a person who likes commerce,
it doesn't have a lot to do. At least in this case, it has very little to do with social justice, and it has way more to do with that.
I didn't say it has anything to do with social justice. I'm just saying that mentality belongs in that group, and I feel like maybe
that mentality. You said that mentality. What is that mentality?
That mentality of discarding previous things that worked because it wasn't their thing. Like they're like it's going on in Marvel, it's going on in DC.
Saying, but here's the difference. At least in this case, they did have something legitimate because remember, there is. I don't know if there is any more, but right before all the new Star Wars stuff came out, there were positions at LucasArts that were quite literally Star Wars historians. So when people got contracted to write these books or make these games, they would be assigned a rep.
These
and
people
that
made
rep's
sure everything
job was to make sure everything fit.
That's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though is at some point they started hiring people that told the rep to fuck off. They're gonna do their own thing.
No. The issue is they got to the point where, because look at this from Disney's perspective. Why would they keep all of these people around when they can instead push a big red button, get rid of all those people, and at the same time, in their minds, pacify the fan?
That
because
makes
they
no
won't
sense.
be going, we want this, we want that. They'll go, no, you won't get any of it, so don't be mad. We're gonna try a new thing.
No, that makes literally no. Like, that's my point, though. That makes literally no sense. That makes no commercial sense. And as
From
we've
a
seen,
short-
it
here's the
didn't
problem,
fucking
Sneaky.
work.
The problem is, from a short-term commercial sense, it makes a massive amount of sense.
Okay, short-term commercial
Because
sense.
you've
yes.
bought the Star Wars brand, and you know for a fact that that brand will make you money.
Yeah, but
right?
the thing is, though, is they clearly weren't looking at short-term. They were looking at long-term. They wanted to make 18 movies. They wanted to, shit out series after series.
Right, but the difference is that's way easier to do when they don't have to go, okay, well, we'd really like to bring Darth Bane. We'd really like to keep Darth Bane around. But if we want to keep Darth Bane around, well, then we also have to include this guy, that guy. We have to include the Valley of the Jedi. We have to include this person, too. Or we can just throw all of this out.
No, and I understand that, but it's a crap load of content. Like,
right, but here's the difference. They didn't say, they just said we're throwing all of it out. At no point did they get rid of the rights to it, because they brought Thrawn back for the Clone Wars. That's the reason it makes a ton of sense, Sneaky. Because there's nothing stopping them from going in, reaching into that pile and scooping something back out.
but that's what I'm saying,
putting
though,
it
is
back.
they're not, though. Like, if they had done the reset...
but they have the ability to at any time.
I know,
That's
but
why it makes financial sense.
if they had done the reset... But, yes, it could make financial sense. It could, if they had capitalized on it, which they didn't. If they had gone back and they were like, boom, reset button, everything but the movies is no longer canon. And I would have been like, as everyone else was, justifiably irritated by this. And then they came out and they were like, alright, so guys, you know what? The next 3 movies, Mara Jade.
Oh, God, that would have been amazing.
Exactly. And they could have just ignored everything else, and they could have been like, alright, so we really like this storyline of Mara Jade, boom, that's a movie and canonized again.
Well, I was going to say, like, one of my favorites has, ironically enough, it has very little to do with Mara Jade, and I'm sure there's SJWs out there going, you like it because it doesn't have a woman in it? No, I love it because it's the one, Allegiance. Did you ever read Allegiance? The one about the band of rogue stormtroopers?
I stopped reading Star Wars books back in 2009.
It's actually an old one. Hold on a minute. I can look when the book was published because I did a book report on it in like 6th grade.
I didn't read too many.
And we had to make a literal bookmark. I still have that bookmark.
I didn't read too many. I had the Star Wars anthology book that told summarized like basically summarized all the books into this one big, timeline book.
God, I made this thing in 7th grade.
And I had the Star Wars Vehicles book. And the Republic, after playing the Republic Commandos game, I picked up the Republic Commando book. But I didn't read too many. And I also read the Zombie series. That was a good series.
Yeah, okay. So, Allegiance was published in 2007. In fact, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend Allegiance. It's a fantastic book. It's about Mara Jade and a band of rogue stormtroopers that basically are like, wow, there's a lot of assholes in the Empire. We're gonna start cleaning them up. And eventually they run into Mara Jade, and Mara Jade is like, I should kill you. You work for me now.
We the Inquisition now, boys.
No, seriously. It's great because they steal an ISB ship, too.
That's straight up the Inquisition now, boy.
I just read through both those last year for like the 3rd time. Both those books still hold up pretty decently.
When I found out, like, years later that it was getting a sequel, I was like, hell yes!
But this is my point, though, is they could have easily made maximum money with minimum effort. They wouldn't have had to pay, like, they could have brought on maybe, like, the author as a consultant, and then they brought on another writer or two to make it more movie friendly or something.
No, here's the thing, right? I do agree with you, but again, Disney was keen to make its own thing.
But what I'm saying though is all the arguments fall apart for Disney. Oh, they did it because they wanted to make their own thing to make more money and make it easier.
Sneaky, I completely
Well,
understand that. I'm just telling you, these are the justifications we have been given. Whether or not they make it
I know, but
sense.
they cancel themselves out, though. Like, that's my point, though, is the justifications given and the actions that Disney actually took are completely non-parallel. They do not match up at all. And I could have bought the justifications, I could have bought the reset, if they did the Disney thing and made shitloads of money off of it, because that's what Disney does. They do the long game. They stick with things. They make sure those things are freaking immaculate, basically. They'll revisionist history to make them immaculate, which they've done before.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do it with this. They fucked up so hard and completely. And then when actors came out and the directors came out and freaking employees on Twitter came out and just absolutely destroyed themselves on Twitter and in interviews and stuff, like being like, oh, you see, the Empire is white supremacy and the rebels are fighting against it because they're LGBTQ.
No, okay, look, I'm not disagreeing with you that the whole thing was dumb, right?
Yeah, I know, but
will I disagree with you? And
it's just, I'm just saying, Disney is really failing at being Disney right now, is what I'm trying to say. Is I expected them to make a 7 out of 10 movie that I could possibly rewatch and be like, well, this isn't too bad. And then they didn't do that. And then they just let their employees destroy the series. And it's just like, I expected you to make money.
Yeah,
I expected you to do the
we can till the cows come home.
Like that's why how it should have ended. It was to bring it all back around.
No, hold on, we're not done yet. I was just saying, we can till the cows come home talk about stuff that would have made a good Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can spend as much time as we want on that. There's a ton there. But, like, it won't do any good, because we won't get any.
Exactly, but and to bring it all back around is that's why How It Should Have Ended became so popular, is because movie, well, for some reason, a short circuit at the end of the script or something, people just, the writers and directors and no one along the chain ever looked at it and said, hold on a second. That doesn't make too much sense. That's why these guys are popular. And that's why we have a fanfiction crossed with Worm that is so utterly uninteresting that we've spent the last 30 minutes talking about Star Wars.
I was just saying, you know what? Because this is still terrible and uninteresting, let's take a brief side note. Max, which expanded universe property would you want made into a Star Wars set of movie or movies? Doesn't matter. Brief sidebar, something far more interesting and theoretical.
Okay, can I, instead of movies, can I get, like, 6 episode, 1 hour, like, 6 1-hour-long episode seasons?
Okay, so you want to unicorn this. Got it.
I want Republic Commando.
Fair enough. We're not allowed to use repeats either. Like, you could be like, I would have said blank, but blank already said it, but...
If I had to say, I'm gonna come back to the zombie one, because I thought the zombie one was
Death Trooper. Fun fact: Death Troopers got added to Galaxies, and because of that, the guy who wrote it got a lifetime subscription to Galaxies.
That's great. But no, I thought that
was
series
like 8 years. That was like 3-4 years, I think, before it ended.
A long time ago. No, I just thought that series was just so it was a zombie story, but yet somehow I was still interested in it because Star Wars and the author handled it fantastically. And I think maybe not
Yeah.
a series. It might not spawn a series or seasons or whatever. I think it would still make a solid maybe
A solid one-off. Yep.
maybe 3-hour movie.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say there is quite a bit that if you don't care, you could condense it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like maybe a 2.5, 3-hour movie. You could probably fit the entire series into.
Probably.
Star Wars Death Troopers. Holy shit, people would be lining up to see that.
Well, at least for the ones who knew what Death Troopers was. For the ones who didn't, you could literally just take the cover art from the book, and I bet you'd be getting people going, "I'm on board."
Yes, exactly. And I was gonna say that the freaking cracked helmet. Yes. Oh. That's what got me to read the series in the first place. I thought the name was stupid as hell, and I saw the cover. I'm just like, I have to read it now.
Yeah, that first cover is a doozy.
Oh,
Like it's
God.
like, oh, this is a stormtrooper helmet on a fucking hook.
Oh, that was so good. Anyway,
I was gonna say,
that's
with Death
great.
Troopers and Republic Commando being taken, although I wouldn't have mentioned Death Troopers, I do think it's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna say I'm probably gonna say either the Courtship of Princess Leia, which was great in its own right, or Luke and Mara.
Would you want that as a movie series or like a seasonal
Yeah, no,
series?
Luke and Mara, I would definitely want as a series of movies.
Yeah. But, apparently we're just bigots and sexist and racist.
I was gonna say, with the honorable mention going to, actually no, you know what? I'm wrong. I would want we'd need 10 movies for it, but I want Jaqen becoming a Sith Lord and Jada having to off him, because that whole thing is just wonderful.
That whole thing would take like 6 movies.
Yeah.
Even if you just focus on Jason and Jaina's journeys through that story, that's still like a solid 4 movie.
Yeah, I know.
Least.
Well, especially when you think about all the fun stuff we get to include in there. Like Boba Fett looking her dead in the eyes and saying, "I'm only gonna teach you how to fight Jedi because it's gonna hurt your parents." Like, woo!
Okay, but Calvin, I'm
That's
not
a
a
spicy
sexist.
meatball, Boba.
I'm not a sexist though if I say she can't do that because she's a woman. That's completely strawmanning right there. She can't peg a man because she's a woman. She doesn't have a dick to peg with. It's not sexist.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm just saying, don't make broad stroke statements like that.
I was gonna say, just while we're on the subject of that, please never say things like that again. Like, two, man, that's still my favorite part of that entire series. Unquestionably, was her stealing an X-Wing, flying to Mandalore, going into Boba Fett's house and saying, "Teach me how to kill Jedi," and Boba Fett's like, "I can do that."
Alright, anyway. Blah blah blah, saggy features, blah blah, how did she get past you? Blah blah blah, she was suddenly there. Magic then, said Joker. Blah blah, please, if this girl had magic, then we're washed up hacks. Blah 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 blah. I thought you were washed up hacks, Khan said. Blah blah blah, they're all angry and stuff. Lightning gets shot at people. Blah blah blah, civilians are here, blah blah blah, what if a hero gets in here next time? We have enough trouble with Batman. Everyone's nodding. Damn that Batman, he was Batman, he's so Batman to Batman, Batman, Batman. Blah 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 blah, did we just wake her up or something? Said the Joker, as he sipped a margarita through a bendy straw. Blah 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 blah, yeah, let's just go wake her up. And they all grumbled but complied, so, then the Joker's just sitting there with the bartender. And he looks at the bartender. Say, do you know how I got these scars?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, Isley, you hear perfectly fine.
No, Isley, you did not, in fact, hear fine. He is lying to you as he usually does.
Taylor hears muttering as she wakes herself up. Blah 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 blah. Radio through a styrofoam wrapping. Why do you even know what that sounds like? How is anyone supposed to know what that sounds like? Blah blah. Flashes of fear. Blah blah. Freedom. Blah blah blah. The villains are staring at her. Don't kill me. If we want to kill you, we would have. Answer our questions. Oh wow, that guy looks evil. Oh my god, these must be villains. Oh, she was so dead it wasn't funny anymore. Please don't hurt me. We're not gonna hurt you. Oh, we already told you this. We aren't gonna get anything out of her like this when she's all scared and stuff. Come on. Loki, Bats gets the information out of the crook all the time when they're scared. How hard can it be? And the villains continue to stare at her. Do you want to give this a go, Joker? I thought not. I'm gonna ask you again, girl. How did you find this place? I don't know how I found this place. All I remember is being shoved in a locker, and I'm waking up here. Please don't kill me. I don't want to die. Holy shit, girl. Stop talking. We can't understand you. Everyone's starting to sigh now. Alright, try it from the top one more time. Is this supposed to be funny? Are we like... Is this a running punchline? Are we supposed to laugh at this situation? Like, are we supposed to be amused? Is anyone amused by this?
I'm not.
Not particularly.
Another question.
Well, I was
wasn't
gonna say, a
Loki
big
just
part of the
mind
problem
control?
is inherently how it should have ended is a bunch of visual gags.
It seems like the kind of thing that would probably go better in a visual media.
Most assuredly.
Well, not only that, the problem with how it should have ended in trying to write A, fan fiction for it, and B, cross over fan fiction for it, is that the how it should have ended, as far as, again, as I'm aware, I haven't seen it in a while, the lore of that...
There isn't any, but go on.
Yeah, that's my point, though, is there is basically no lore. Like, there's the occasional little gag or at the end or at the beginning or like in the middle when they're, sitting around laughing about
this,
something.
Dan? Who's this?
Oh, Kilm has graced us with his presence.
Oh, hello, Clom.
Sometimes I just forget you're alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's normal for him.
Yeah, dude, like, it's 5 a.m. and I woke up and I was like, fuck, these guys are streaming.
It's 5 a.m. and you're
Why
woke.
would you spend your morning here?
That's the thing, like,
it'll
I
definitely wake him up, I have to admit.
I mean, if you consider abject stupidity a way to wake up, then yeah, sure.
I mean, who doesn't?
Blah, blah,
Most
blah.
people probably.
Blah, this is stupid. Like, they're trying to cross over something that has the words lore as their lore. That's basically how it should have ended lore. The word lore. There is none. Just the word. Lore. Lore intensifies GIF. Where is that GIF that I made?
People
I don't
die
know.
when
I
they're
think
killed.
I feel like we lost that GIF like a long time ago. If you could find it, that'd be great, though.
It's around here. Okay, here we go.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I have the epilepsy version and the non-epilepsy version.
Let's go with the non-epilepsy. We
I'm
don't
sorry,
want
the
to be
what?
sued. Oh, well, you'll have to show that in the epilepsy version later.
But if you put the epilepsy version up, and if FTDS is secretly watching this,
Yes, there we go.
Okay, then at the very least we should have an epilepsy warning.
Yeah, Sneaky, put it up, like, on text.
There's the non-epilepsy version.
Alright, cool. God, it's been a while since we have seen that thing.
And,
We haven't used that since like 2016, 2015.
Oh, here's the seizure mode.
Oh no.
The seizure.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's not. It's not Porygon. I mean, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but.
See, when was the last time we pulled that out?
2 years ago.
Are you sure? I feel like it was longer.
I mean, it was longer because I originally made it as a joke to our Dark Souls loring sessions.
Yeah, that was back in like 2013, 2014. We were on like chapter 2 or 3
Yeah.
at that point.
I actually can tell you precisely the date that I made this. It's 2017. February the 3rd.
No, that's older than that.
I know,
I
but
was-
the
I
date
was
that this GIF was made was 2017, February the 3rd.
No, that's wrong, because you made that when I was still in college. You made the epilepsy gift when I was still in college. Which was 2014 at the absolute latest.
Well, y'all are fucking grown, dude.
Yeah, we're all old.
Fuck you.
No, sorry, Max. You are old. least by the standards of
Outsourcing
the
to
internet.
Scotland again. What the hell are you talking about, Isley? There's no Scottish here.
Yeah, dude, I'm an Indian.
He's Indian.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Taylor told them her whole story, and they're all like, wow, gee willikers, that sounds like a villain origin story. Yup, everyone's nodding along. But I'm not a villain. And then she shut up because she realized she disagreed with villains, but she definitely wasn't a villain. No, I think everyone is right here. You are definitely a villain, but I don't have any powers. Guess what? Neither do I. His mouth was stretched like an insane smile. And Taylor swallowed nervously. Oh my god, this guy was a villain, but also a normal person? And everyone treated him as an equal? That means he was dangerous. Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Do you really
no,
think...
I mean, he's really not that dangerous as long as you stay away from tables.
As long as you don't ask to see any magic tricks.
Oh boy.
Because he will make that pencil disappear.
Right into your skull.
I'm confused now. Is she a villain or not? Well, you know. She's a villain. Blah, blah, blah. Do you really think we would buy the no powers thing with all those bugs flying around your head? Oh my god, there's bugs flying around my head. And I can feel them, too. And I can control them. And now they're doing 360 no-scopes.
Really, huh? Those are
Yep.
some impressive bugs.
And, let's see. Yeah, that puts a damper on your no power argument. But I don't want to run a gang. And she's complaining and angsting. What is having to run a gang to do with being a villain? Well, all the villains in Brockton Bay are part of gangs. What is Brockton Bay? And then she told them what Brockton Bay was. And then she realized, as she was telling them what Brockton Bay was, is that she might not be on Earth Bet anymore.
Yeah, by the way, can I just say, like, oh shit, these obviously powerful villains don't know what Brockton Bay is. Shit, why am I telling them, like, really?
Yeah.
Never mind the realization of, oh shit, I might not be home anymore. Just, oh, these people obviously are powered. I better not tell them where Brockton Bay is since they don't know what it is. It's already enough of a hellhole.
After their questions petered out, a silence fell over the bar. Taylor could feel everyone staring at her. Blah, 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 blah. Being the center of attention after 2 years of being ignored was an odd experience for her. But she kind of was the center of attention for 2 years. Like, yes, the teachers were ignoring it, but she kind of was made the centerpiece, the village idiot, if you will, of the school. So she kind of was the center of attention. Okay. Not good attention, admittedly. But kind of was. And then she realized all of these individuals were extremely dangerous. And it's clear what we need to do, Palpatine said with a slow cadence. She couldn't help but shiver at his tone. Were they going to kill her and hide her body? Would they kill her dad? Obviously, we need to teach her what being a villain is. What? Clearly, the criminals of your world have no idea how to be a villain. Honestly, only one attempt to take over the world? I know, right?
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, guys, if you'd listen to anything, Taylor would immediately be like, "Yeah, they don't do that because they know if they do, A, they'll be put in a nigh inescapable prison if they're lucky. If they're unlucky, they'll be murdered on the fucking spot."
I mean, isn't that the way of most worlds? With supervillains?
No, think about people like the Joker.
Okay, yeah, but literally, but Atin, the Joker is so small time that the only time anything big happens with the Joker is when the Joker creates the Injustice universe and Superman murders him.
Yo, but
You
Joker
are forgetting about the
lives in a
time he.
society.
You are forgetting the time he stole Mr. Mixelpix's powers.
Oh, sure enough.
You forget that he lives in a society.
I was gonna say, don't forget, he stole a dimensional imp's powers, took over the world, made himself sane, and went, "Sweet God, I'm a terrible person," made himself insane again, and undid everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of my favorite things about Joker. Actually, he's one of the most competent villains around if he wants to put in effort. Bad things happen when he puts in effort.
Like, when he legitimately tries, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad.
He's up there with like Doctor Doom in terms of competency.
Fool! Doom toots as he pleases.
Where Doom literally fucking destroys the extra dimensional beings or whatever the fuck they are.
The Watchers.
I love the fact that like
Like Doom,
I love
just
the
like
fact
straight up
that,
fucking
like-
fisticuffs time, motherfucker.
No!
Doctor Doom's got such a nice character, like such a well-made everything, but his name is Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. One of my
Awesome,
favorite...
Fuck you.
One of my favorite parts about Doom is when Spider-Man tricked him into giving up ultimate power. He didn't beat it out of him. He didn't talk. He didn't give him like a responsibility speech. No, he
Those
tricked him.
damn millennials.
He called he did the equivalent of saying, "Oh yeah, I bet if you weren't you're such a bitch, you won't even fight me without your gun." And then that guy going, "All right, fine, I'll put the gun down."
Also,
That's
you know
what happened.
Real talk. I like that Doom is consistently arrogant enough that I can believe that working on it.
I was gonna say, that's the thing.
He's always
He
been
is
arrogant.
that much of an arrogant dick that you're like, that would totally work.
I mean,
well,
there's been a couple runs of comics, hasn't there, where the heroes would switch off what villains they're fighting, and like the ongoing joke of those comic crossovers is that like Spider-Man versus Doom is that Doom just gets raffle stomped by Spider-Man, not because he's like stronger than Doom or anything, but because he just Spider-Man's at him.
How do I deal with this?
Well,
This-
that was literally the logic behind Squirrel Girl in her original run beating Doom. Was Doom was like, "What the fuck do I do when there's a squirrel biting my dick? I am not prepared for this."
Yo, I'm telling you, dude. Like, if they do the Ant-Man Thanos thing, it'll actually be more in character than out for Marvel.
Yeah, there's enough
the
runs.
Hmm?
So there's enough runs that you could make that argument.
Yeah.
Which run?
Well,
Ant-Man inside Thanos' ass.
Oh,
after
yeah,
Baby
more or
Watching.
less, yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, Max! Check out the gaming section.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Witness true
I
power.
saw it. I had a laugh, and then I was like, "Boy, those look like they're really good, like class prints. Wish I could have those. Sit here and cry with my shitty green empty Estus flask.
Boy, you're still mad about that
Oh,
thing, huh?
you have the green SS flask too, don't you?
He is
So
very
with the-
salty about his
Dude,
green Estus.
I still have it.
Okay. Kilm, I was so excited for that thing. I actually bought 2 of those because Well, here's the thing. They saw the price drop coming from a mile away, and they were up for pre-order for like $30 each for that big like collector strategy guide. So I just got 2 for the price of 1. I was so mad when I got that. I looked at the S Flask. I'm like, this is not what I was promised. It's not even like yellow.
Did you get the Sekiro Katana letter opener?
No.
Oh, how shit is that?
God, what?
Oh, it's really good. Surprisingly. It's a pre-order bonus.
It was a pre-order bonus with GameStop.
Yeah.
Here in the States.
Now-
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When GameStop has physical merch for pre-order, a lot of times it's really fucking dope. Like
No, that's the thing.
the
This
art,
is really
like
good.
the Wolf Knight Great Sword letter opener looks really nice.
They're like
I'm
I
so
didn't
sorry.
even buy like a GameSpot thing, but I got like a friend from the States to like mail me one.
Yeah.
And it's
Uh,
coming soon. The
if-
other thing that the sad thing though is, you know, the collector's edition statue of Sekiro.
I
It-
didn't
Sure.
know.
Okay, so it looks like the saddest thing ever. Give me a second.
no.
I'll show you.
Oh,
Okay,
is it a
is
re-
it worse
is it a-
than the what is it? The
Pyrrha.
Camo pre-order?
Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna
what
say,
about
is it
Max
worse
Payne?
than the Pyrrha?
What about Max Payne 3, where he's just T-posing?
Oh no, wait, no. I was gonna say, what's the other thing? I was thinking. there's
I will
another thing I was thinking.
forever hold up Pyrrha as the possibly
No, there was one
worst.
worse. It was who was it from? Damn it!
The-
There was
the
a statue
plush?
that was.
Yes,
Pyrrha
the Pyrrha plush. Let me pull that up again.
Yeah, but that's because it's Bruce. They can't make a good thing.
They tried to save it. Oh, that's right. And then there was also the Emerald one.
The statue.
No, the Emerald
Dude,
one?
I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, I
The
get the
Emerald
statues
one
in.
is just begging for the sweet release of
I
death.
got the statues in.
Wait,
I'm
there
like,
it
oh,
is.
these look good. And then I
I'm
saw emeralds,
posting-
and I'm like, wait, what? What? Right, I forgot you added improvements.
I
Big
improved
air quotes
it.
there.
And then there was this.
Wait, I'm posting. Okay, take a check. Just check out gaming. Just look at us.
Oh, that is.
There's one sad-looking boy.
What is wrong with him?
I mean, if you
Okay.
had your entire
Okay.
life was dedicated to taking care of a kid, wouldn't you look like that?
Okay, now to be fair, the general details on the clothing and the arms and whatnot, that actually looks dope.
Okay, but here's the
But
counterpoint to that.
his
The
face
kid makes
doesn't
you
look
immortal.
Like his face
I mean,
doesn't
isn't
look
that
like
even
his
worse?
face.
No, cause like
No, think about it this way. You're not just looking after a kid till you die. You're looking after a kid till both of you die. So you could live till twice your age, and that kid's just like fucking around.
no, but
and
he's
you're
not gonna be a
immortal.
kid forever. He's gonna grow
but
to an
I
adult.
feel it should be pointed out that is his default expression in the game. It just doesn't look like
Well,
his
that is
face.
true though. That is true though.
It just doesn't look like his face. That's all.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Max, imagine C's face when he finds out that dragon blood makes you immortal.
That is.
Which
the thing,
reminds
is-
me-
that
Oh,
is the
also
thing, is
remember-
that-
already making it in
remember,
the game.
massive. Here's another. Here's a benefit I don't think anyone thought about for the Divine Heir. Because the Divine Heir can't the Divine Heir can't be harmed. So if he's being a mouthy little shit, you can give him a good smack. You don't have to feel bad because he can't feel it.
Yeah, you don't have to feel bad, but he's gonna report to some kind of senior. Then
What? Oh yeah, he's gonna report you to CPS in the middle of feudal Japan. I'm sorry.
See,
I like
Calvin.
to imagine
no,
the
like,
American
to the-
CPS appearing in the middle of
Yes.
feudal Japan.
Don't you know that's exactly how that works? Is that we are just the American CPS is just
Calvin.
omnipresent throughout history.
Yeah. No, I was talking about for example, whoever the ruling lord is at that point in time. This kid is just supposed to be some kind of fucking
Vassal.
kinda, yeah, but he's not supposed to be the king or the lord. That's some personnel. Generally, somebody who has a person's blessing. Ishin and Genichiro were both the lord. Whatever. So if
Well,
this person-
Ishin's the lord. Genichiro's just a kid. A
yeah,
grandkid.
Genichiro's he wants to be the lord.
Well, no, Genichiro's I'm going to protect Ashina so that someday I have something to inherit.
Yeah, basically, because Ishin is just letting it go to the council.
I
Yes.
finally got to that that point. That was
Yeah.
Which point?
that was an interesting point. Well, when you first meet Ishin, that was
Oh yeah.
that
and
was
did you,
that was
are you,
interesting.
are you feeding Ishin alcohol?
Oh God, yes.
He tells you
Um,
so much shit. He tells you
Not-
so much shit.
Okay, no. However, something I don't think a lot of people realized. What you should be doing is you should be giving Emma alcohol.
Yeah, you can give Emma alcohol. You can give
Sculptor.
the sculptor alcohol. I've given them all alcohol at this point. So like I've got like, but to me the best was Ishin. The issue was I was not able to give him the dragon sake before like the thing progressed.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
by the way, this is another thing that some people don't realize. If you use the hug wall mechanic, you can get eavesdropping opportunities on all of them.
ooh.
And believe it or not, eavesdropping on Kuro is actually required for 2 of the endings.
That's weird. I got the
No,
best
because you
ending,
have to eavesdrop on stuff that he says.
Yeah, the ending I pretty much got was a lot of rice.
Alright.
Did you feed the divine the kid 2 persimmons?
We need to get back. You guys
Right,
are getting
right.
into massive spoiler territory. The game's
Yeah, no,
only been out for 2 weeks.
My thing's like.
I will literally
how
mute
far have
you.
you made? How
No,
far
no,
have
we're
you
done.
made it?
We'll talk about it after the stream.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna mute us again, which is fair.
Yeah.
We're talking about spoiler stuff.
Fair.
Alright, so blah blah blah, we're gonna turn you into a real villain, blah blah blah, the Joker gave her beer. You fool, don't you realize she's underage? He used the force to lift the glass away, and he dumped it, and blah blah blah. Blah blah blah, cleaning staff, blah
Believe it or
blah
not,
blah.
I actually don't think the Joker would give her alcohol. The Joker is very strange in what laws he will and will not
Yeah.
adhere to.
Exactly.
Yep.
As exemplified by the best quote to ever come from comic history. I may be a criminal lunatic, but I'm an American
No,
criminal
yeah.
lunatic.
Oh yes, when it came to fighting the
one with
Red
the Red
Skull.
Skull, right?
Yeah.
And he then proceeds to punch out the red skull. Like,
Skull.
Excuse me, sir, but I am an American. That was great.
All American supervillain.
But the funniest
but, like,
part
for real,
about
because
that,
he punches him out.
I know, but like the funniest part about that is that's how our actual criminals are.
Yes! Oh god, yes!
Dude, honestly, like Joker is just Florida man.
Chaotic evil Florida man, I can see it.
See,
Anyway.
one day Florida man will transcend his mortality to become Joker.
Anyway, so, blah blah, you draw the line at alcohol to minors. That was a really odd place to draw the line at. We're evil, not irresponsible. Besides, do you want to deal with a drunk teenager? Everyone's like, nah, that's what I thought. So you're going to teach me how to be a villain? Well, it's either that or kill you, and we don't really feel like killing you, or the process that would take to clean up your body after we kill you.
What process? The Emperor can literally incinerate her to tiny charred ashes.
Yeah, I know. He didn't even
Voldemort
bother
could
looking at her, blah blah
disapparate,
blah
whatever,
blah.
vanish, magic poop her corpse away.
Magic poop her corpse?
Yeah, whatever they do to get rid of their poo when they magically shit themselves.
Oh, yes, yes. That. The most basic thing you need to do is master the art of revenge, arch nemesis, blah blah blah. And then Joker taught her all about crazy revenge plots. Blah 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 blah.
I mean, to be fair, if there's anybody who should know about that.
Wow, MG, the villains were better behaved than the trio. Blah blah, so I'm supposed to be a superior being to them? No, I'm the superior being. I suppose even amongst you lesser beings, you are the superior being to them lesser beings. Don't
Who
be
is
such
she
a
talking to right now?
con.
Who? Oh, Khan. Oh, right, Khan.
Yeah, con.
Which Khan?
I'm assuming the con that wants to be con.
Old Khan or new Khan? Because
I assume old con.
Did they ever do a hish for the old Star Trek movies?
Maybe? Yeah, it's probably the new con then, yeah. Don't be such a killjoy, blah blah blah. If you're her teacher, that explains why she's failing so much. Taylor didn't try to talk to Khan after that. You need a look that screams, I'm a supervillain, says Loki. Taylor's drinking a non-alcoholic drink. Voldemort goes with black robes, blah blah blah. Oh, and no nose. Oh, I don't get respect around here. Cue laugh track. Taylor felt bad for him. Blah blah. Robes work if she's gonna be evil overlord. I see her more of as an independent thinker like I am. Taylor had to admit he looked good in his clothes. Blah blah blah. Purple and green intimidating. Forgive us for not
I've never
trusting your
understood that.
wardrobe.
Why are people afraid of it? It really isn't that special.
What, Joker?
It's just purple and green. Like, unless you're like a fashion consultant, there's nothing terrifying about purple and green besides the
No,
fact that they look terrible.
I think at that point, purple and green in the Batman universe means Joker, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, it's the Joker.
Oh god, one of my favorites is when the Joker went on vacation. He went to Metropolis, and Lex Luthor was like, I will give you $10 million to fuck off.
Oh man, that's a reputation.
Just leave. I don't want you here, please. And the Joker was like, Lex, why are you being so rude? Fuck off.
I mean, to be fair, it is well deserved.
I'm not saying Lex isn't justified. He tried to use him once when he gave the Joker a statue of kryptonite. And he was like, kill Superman.
Okay, and?
And, well, that was a whole, like, crossover thing. It actually went okay. For the Joker. Superman was pissed.
God fucking damn it.
What? What?
Check Western Gas.
But yeah, no, it was great because, like, the Joker showed up in Metropolis, and not even 10 minutes later, Lex Luthor's limo pulled up, and he was like, $10 million, get out of my city.
Let's continue. Now, gentlemen, I think Taylor needs a woman's touch, green-skinned woman, a pair of horns, skull, blah blah blah. Dear Taylor, you must understand villainesses have different toolbox. We need to use our assets, a very beautiful redhead woman said.
What the fuck is that thing? What is that? Oh, God.
Taylor burned Scarlet at the insinuation. I can't wear anything like that. Don't worry, dear, we'll find something for you.
Okay,
And,
I mean, look, to be fair, they do have a point. Like, Catwoman literally wears a full-body cat suit.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
Purposely.
And rocks it.
Yes. Blah blah. I love how people are like, oh, Catwoman needs to be fatter because body types, and it's just like,
What?
She literally does acrobatics and scales buildings. I don't think you can physically be fat doing that.
Not only does she do acrobatics and scale buildings, she's literally a cat, like, she's a cat burglar. She spends all her nights running around on rooftops.
But like that's what I'm saying though. She's literally so athletic. I don't think it's possible for her to get fat.
Oh yeah, because of what she does on like a nightly basis. Well, it's like when someone was like, when people were like, "Oh, Silver Sable looks unrealistic." I was like, or not Silver Sable, Black Cat. I was like, do you know what she spends her night? She gives Spider-Man a run for his money as a normal, and she's just a normal person running on New York buildings.
Sorry, what did I just come back to?
Black Cat,
She's a Spider-Man.
Character,
she is basically Catwoman for Spider-Man.
She's also genetically enhanced in most incarnations.
No, that actually changes. Like that's pretty up in the air, believe it or not.
Well, okay, most of the times I've seen it, she's genetically enhanced.
But anyway,
I think it's
regardless
like 50,
of all of
50.
that, the point
But
here is that I think people are stupid when they complain about certain Spider-Man needs to be fatter, Catwoman needs to be fatter. Why are all these, highly athletic people not fatter? Well, I wonder. It's almost like. Anyway, so blah blah blah. Time skip again after Taylor has a nostalgia hit. It's almost like she's with Emma again, pre-betrayal. With the female supervillain.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. She didn't know what to say. Blah blah blah. Villains were bad people, and then she realized that villains weren't bad people, but they were still kind of bad people, but they were still humans that were bad people. They were kind of people like her, though. Blah, blah, blah. We're all villains like this. Don't think anything of it. Despite his terrifying appearance. Blah, blah, blah. Good plan. Smile to my face when the younger generation gets involved. But how am I going to get back home? Here, I crafted this. It was a stone. It's a rune stone. It's keyed onto the traces of your world. It'll take you back. How does it work? Press down on the symbol and speak home to return and bar to get back here. Wow, guys, I really appreciate all the effort you put into making me a villain. I'm gonna go home. Well, you can go repay us by being a real villain and showing all those criminals the truth. Well, Taylor wasn't sure if she was gonna become a villain, but she was open to giving it a try.
I see.
I will give it a try, Taylor said, and she took a deep breath as she pressed down the symbol. Part of her wanted to stay, but she could only imagine how worried Dad was. Either leave or sit down and order something, Palpatine said. Home. That was a surprisingly
Alright, you know what? I'll
pleasant
admit that that's reasonable enough for Palpatine to be like, okay, either buy something or get out. I don't have time for.
Anyway, so surprisingly pleasant afternoon, blah blah blah. Loki was about to say something, but he froze and he turned back to the point where Taylor Herbert had vanished. Blah blah blah. What is it, Loki? We never did figure out how she got here, and everyone was like, "Ah, shit, we didn't." Earthbat won't know what hit it. Being a villain is lame. Sorry, hold on. Let me get the Batman approved poor man's sound. Being a villain is lame. She should only be a hero instead. What?
Wow.
How did you get here? Because I'm Batman. So that was the first chapter. Isn't everyone just over the moon with how funny this chapter was?
Yeah, dude, it's proper comedy. Gold.
I mean, I was just holding my sides the entire time because of how funny
Yeah,
this
I
was.
think the last time I laughed this much with you, Sneaky, was the time when you were an absolute moron in Dying Light.
I laughed so hard I died. Well, good thing you got those resurrection insurances.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, but Dying Light was actually funny.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't fun. I'm just saying you were a goddamn idiot.
I can make it. Well, to not make it.
No, my personal favorite was, I think I can take on this hunter.
Isn't
Damn.
that generally something you can't do?
No, we could usually take him on pretty well, actually. My personal favorite was there was some guy who joined in on ours. He was so bad, we got to the point of spawn camping him.
Oh, that guy, yeah. That poor guy.
No, and then he
how do you
started sending angry messages in the all chat, like, Dark Souls styles fight me one-on-one, no honor.
Yeah, and we were just like, the fuck are you talking about, man?
We're like, you are a zombie. We are gonna beat your head in with our pickaxes
I think it was Max that I was with during Dying Light, where I ran out of durability on a majority of my items and just started chucking them all into the
No,
big guy.
that was with me because we played through almost all of Dying Light together.
Shit, I'm out. Thunk, 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 thunk. Why isn't he dying? And there's just 10 fucking weapons in him.
What I was there for was Sneaky failing with the grappling hook, while me, the level 5 player, was scaling his way up tall buildings without dying.
Oh god, that was beautiful. And Sneaky was like, "Oh, the parkour doesn't work." Max scales an unscalable building with parkour.
No, the parkour is great in that game. It's just I'm really shit at it.
Yeah, you eventually came to that conclusion, thankfully.
Well, there are also parts where you look at it and I came to the realization, I don't think I'm supposed to be allowed to do this. There were spots where it looked like it wasn't intended to be parkoured up.
Remember the first time we got guns, Sneaky?
Oh, please tell me you just summoned a horde on yourselves because
He absolutely did.
Oh yeah, I kept shooting them, and I was like, "Oh, there's more," and I kept shooting.
Because he's like, "Oh hell yeah, I got a gun. I'm gonna use my gun." Because he opened he opened a police trunk, and there was like a 9mm in the trunk, and he was like, "Yes, I got a gun. I'm gonna use the gun, even though I'm gonna run out of bullets for it. I'm gonna use the gun because I have a gun." And just bang, bang. There's like 2 of them, and he's like, "Oh god, they keep coming. Oh god, the specials keep coming. Oh god, remember the first time you ran into a puker? Oh, what's this guy do? Oh god, I can't see."
Oh my god, Sneaky.
Holy shit, hide. That's not gonna hide you from them. Yes, it will. They're walking past me.
And the best part is, half the antics that happened, only one of us would trigger, and the other would just be up on a building like, sucks to be you, bitch.
We are the best co-op partners.
I mean, here's the thing, right? You and I are fairly well suited to each other for co-op.
Max and I work very well.
We're willing to work together to an extent.
I mean, whenever I co-op with Max, it always ends up with me screwing up somehow and screaming running towards him.
But see, that's why you and I work better together, because we both screw up.
God. No, and you don't understand. There was a point in my life. And I was playing a single-player game. Sneaky yells Max. My mouse starts going crazy, trying to figure out what the fuck he is. Wait a second.
I have literally, over the course of 3 years, I conditioned him to immediately panic when I start shouting his name.
My first reaction for quite some time was, oh shit, I need to save Sneaky because he fucked something up. Depending on how badly he fucked up, it quickly became, god damn it, Sneaky, as I took the brunt instead.
Alright, so this is going to be our final story for the night.
Oh, thank god.
Reborn with boobs.
What?
Right, kudos to the person to actually putting the title up to be that self-descriptive, but...
I was gonna say, well, alright, you know what? I'll say this, Isekai. You've gained me attention.
I appreciate the honesty.
Can you execute now, is the question.
I am a dude, I say. Why do I have breast then? I've been
Alright, hold on a minute.
I
can tell this isn't being written by a man.
Fatal Dinosaur.
A man's first response to waking up with boobs would be, time to have fun.
No, 2 idiots in Southern do not condone these statements.
Sneaky, that's because you are one of the most repressed individuals on the planet.
Thank you.
That is true.
Original character times Harry Potter.
This can't go horribly wrong.
Oh, this is...
Author's note. Hey guys, so is this one of those times where everyone leaves me? Why?
Yes.
I'm lonely. Please come back. Until you come back, I'll just keep on writing. Oh, and while I am a guy, I have girly thoughts. So if this story gets girly, don't assume I
What?
am a woman.
Hold on a minute. What is that statement even supposed to mean?
Don't assume I'm a woman. I am a male. I just have delicate female side as well.
What? Listen here, you idiot.
Going anywhere with that, Atin?
No, just listen here, you idiot. We don't need your level of stupidity.
You would think that being crushed under a building would send you to the afterlife's infirmary or something before being sent to wherever, wouldn't you?
The afterlife infirmary, eh?
No,
I would
unless
have so
you're a
many
really big
questions.
believer in DBZ. No, not really.
I would have so many questions like, oh fuck, what happened? Oh, you died. Why am I in a hospital bed then? Oh, well, you know, your health insurance just happened to cover this. So, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I like to imagine death. Like, if you buy the life insurance policy against death, like, the Reaper shows up and he's like, oh, you actually bought the policy? You're like the third person to do it. Congrats.
Yeah, and the policy is actually the
No one
winner on
ever
life support.
pops for those extra, like, $50 a month. Holy shit.
The absolute state of American economy.
Can you buy your way out of death? Some people can.
Wait, death? I thought that was a debt policy.
Yeah, potato.
Anyway, enough joking aside, let's continue. Not me. I get reborn and in a world that is famous woo yay jazz, and I wasn't reborn into Sailor Moon, Lucky Star, Lord of Rings, Star Wars. No. I was reborn in Harry Potter. Cue
Harry Potter
jazz
with
hands
boobs.
and Voldemort shouting Avada Kedavra at said jazz hands. And
I'm
guess
sorry, what?
And guess who I was reborn as? Maybe a random character. Ron. Drakey.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've been mooked, boy.
Tom. No. I was reborn as the twin sister to Draco Malfoy. And
Actually, hold
I'm
on
male.
a minute. You know what? Just a side note, that's an isekai I would read. They get isekai'd, they're a mook.
I mean, that sounds like how my luck would go.
No, your luck would be you'd get reborn as Isekai and you'd be missing an arm and a leg.
Probably. And I'm a mook.
Yeah, and you're a mook. I don't even know what the fuck a mook is. Can you explain?
Generic goon.
Oh, okay.
Think
Yeah.
all the guys who get exploded in Zaku's.
Oh, alright, that makes sense.
Yep, they're just your basic bitch grunts.
But if for some reason the fans really like you, sometimes you get to you basically get to attain
Greater
real
mook.
villain status.
Oh, I was gonna say
Because
greater
you get
mook.
to come back.
Basically,
Rumbarol.
sometimes you turn into greater
Literally
mook.
Rambarol.
Sometimes you turn into
Rumbarol is
greater
far
mook,
from a mook.
at which point
Thank you.
you basically are the mook, but you get some sort of palette swap or some sort of like armor on one shoulder and a sword or something or a gun. Basically, you're a mook but better. And then if you survive past greater mook status, you evolve into Nemesis.
Oh.
Wait, does that mean Char was a mook?
I mean, he
Yeah.
did have a Zaku at a point.
Because he started
have
with a basic
actually-
Zaku.
Yes. Char is a greater mook.
No, well, yeah, because he eventually got to rival status.
Yeah.
I want to contest this. 'Cause no, here's the thing. He was lieutenant. There were obviously things going on in the background with him within the first 5 episodes, so on and so forth. And
Well, see, that's the thing, though, is that mook
no,
is just a general appellation to anyone that's, like, not the main antagonist cast. Is this guy supposed to be just kind of defeated in like one episode? If so,
No,
he's a
he
moot.
is, except that he's the main antagonist for roughly 14 episodes. In fact, he's the biggest threat to them.
But does he turn into the main antagonist? Does he?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my point though. There's a like.
No,
Possible chance.
he is the main antagonist. Then it switches to a different antagonist, and then he becomes the main antagonist again while running like 4 shadow plots at the same time. He was never
One of
intended
those
as
shadow
a-
plots being, I hate the heads of my government, and I'm assassinating every single one of them because they killed my dad.
Neat.
I mean,
Anyway.
can't be a traitor if you were never loyal.
And I'm male,
Best
so
line.
that means I'm
Best line.
transgender. I don't remember, but I guess I'm technically transgender then, so that's going to be fun.
No.
That's-
Okay, actually, I will say that. So I just read the latest translated light novel for Saga of Tanya the People, where the guy was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna date anyone because I'm not gonna deal with being either gay in my head or gay to everyone else.
Fair. Oh my god, end my life, or my brothers would be preferred. We're freaking 5, and he's already arrogant. He already swaggers. Why can he swagger Al Ray?
Oh.
Question mark, exclamation point. I'd call it youthful playing, but Lucius, or Dad, is fucking encouraging it, exclamation point. Why is he encouraging it, exclamation point,
Because
question mark.
Lucius Malfoy is a subhuman.
Tanya Part 4 is out? Yes.
Wait. I thought only season 1 of Tanya.
It's a light novel, dude.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. No, it's light novel 5, I think, isn't it? Hold on, let me check.
Maybe.
I just bought it. I finished a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'll just wait for the fucking anime to come.
Blah 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 blah. Part of the reason why I spend time with my mom is that she has a brain and that we're both girls, even if I'm a 19-year-old guy in a 5-year-old girl's body, and that's counting the years adding on to it. Wait,
Yeah,
does
no,
that mean
Isley, you are behind. Parts 4 and 5 are out.
both? The anime and manga of Yoko are way easier. The light novel is Get ready for a philosophy class.
Isn't there also an economics class thrown in there?
And history.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
shit.
what now?
A light novel of Yoko.
Oh. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting for the next light novel for Reborn as a Vending Machine because it's a fabulous shitpost.
It's hilarious.
I'm so disappointed in myself
For what?
liking that.
I don't worry, you're probably not the only one to feel that way.
No, like when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not gonna read this. This is dumb. And then I was like, you know what? I can pick it up for $2, so I picked it up for
Yeah.
$2, and I was like,
Oh, that's
damn it, I want the second one.
Yeah, just like, wow, why is this oddly adorable?
Yeah.
Why does this work?
He's a vending machine.
So dumb.
Context?
That's
It's
it.
an isekai where the
That's
guy's
event.
reborn as a vending machine.
Yeah. That's the context.
Like
That's
an actual machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vending
Actually,
He's
machine.
a vending machine.
Yeah, and his power is that he can earn points to buy upgrades of vending machines that he's bought from before. And he's a vending machine fanatic, so he would travel Japan just randomly
Can
to
somebody
find.
link? Can somebody link it to me?
Yeah, we'll
I
drop
mean,
it
I
in the
actually
Discord.
paid for it, so no. Like, I can
No,
send you an Amazon link, but that's not what you're looking
that's,
for.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking for like
do you want
a
the
synopsis or something.
You
You
just want
want
the
the
general
version?
link to it.
I would honestly love like a wiki or something for it, so like I could get to know it a bit better before like I go like, yeah, I'm going to invest my time in this.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb, and I love it.
Here's the
Ugh.
Wikipedia page.
Anyway,
for it, buddy.
let's wrap this up. It's gonna be dumb. So dumb stuff.
There you go, buddy.
Poorly written
Read up on
narrative,
the
crappy
synopsis.
narrative. My eyes are hot pink. Crappy narrative, crappy
Born as a
narrative.
vending
Oh
machine, I
wow,
don't
how
understand.
original. Her name is
It's
Virgo.
just the dumbest.
It's such a stupid premise.
Crappy
I know,
narrative, crappy narrative.
I
blah,
literally got a
blah,
friend who was
blah.
like, "I'm done with anime and light novels." I got him back in because I was like, "Okay, hear me out."
Blah blah blah.
Reborn
blah,
as a vending
blah,
machine.
Blah blah blah.
Reborn
I
in the
hate
isekai
this.
with my
It's boring.
smartphone.
I'm 7. Oh, we're just going through massive
no, like
time
fuck
skips.
that,
Okay.
fuck that, fuck your stupid idea.
Oh,
Give me
blah,
more funny stuff like Reborn as a vending machine.
blah,
Yeah.
Blah blah.
Isekai,
This-
Blah,
Isekai.
blah,
Reborn as a pool
blah.
noodle.
You. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Literally, not even joking. Not even kidding right now. I'm not even joking anymore. It literally says, "I am 7 now, and as custom
the
in the."
protagonist
Get ready for
was
this,
being
guys.
crushed to
Get
death
ready.
by a vending
Get
machine.
ready for canonical blah blah. I am 7 now, and as custom in the wizarding world, apparently my parents had thrown us a party to celebrate blah 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 magic blah blah blah.
Tuned
By
it
the by the way,
Wow.
I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I think my favorite test for how well magic is integrated into your story is what magical thing or magic piece of piece of technology that's so amazing it's magic are your hobos unimpressed by? Like, oh yeah, that dude's levitating a 300-pound sofa. Fuck it, that's a Tuesday.
Isekai smartphone is boring as shit. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
No, I'm just surprised that Isekai smartphone, even though it was absolute trash, actually ended up getting an anime.
I'm so disappointed that it did, honestly.
Yeah, I know, same, but like,
I've
the fact
I've
that it
never-
got one.
I've never
Is-
even looked at it.
No, I actually saw the first 5
Blah
episodes
blah
because like
blah blah.
the
I still
premise
I still,
was
don't know what it's,
something.
I still don't know what it's about because like
Yeah,
I
it's
saw the
literally
title
about
in a world with my
perfect
smartphone,
well-being.
but
Yeah.
apparently the smartphone isn't even used as a proper plot device. It's
Yeah.
just kind
No, it isn't.
It's
The
basically
smartphone's just
completely
a
forgotten.
Does everything device.
Yeah.
It's a does everything device.
It's a
but
really
Yeah.
that's all they
That's-
use it for.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
basically what happens is that he has every single magic a proficiency, and he has all the magics, and his smartphone is
perfect.
powered by magic, and he, for some reason, goes around in his life with, like, gigabytes of data on his smartphone of, like, how to do stuff, and he's just like, oh, well, I'll just look this up on my smartphone.
Okay,
And-
like, wow, that sounds like a really shitty version of No Game, No Life, which did the same exact thing, only way more fun and interesting.
a number of like there's a couple of these kind of
And
things
with
where
good
it's
reason,
like,
well, relatively speaking.
it's like, oh shit, I brought my phone. Like fuck,
No,
Like, I got
Sneaky?
news for you. For me, that'd be useful. Like, oh, what's on my phone? Ah, a bunch of weeb light novels. And Star Wars. Weeb light novels and Star
No, he
Wars
has
books.
internet. He has internet.
He has internet. Okay.
what?
What?
He
Yeah,
has
he has
internet
internet.
connection.
And
Okay,
magic. Of
you know
course,
what?
He can use his phone to target 30 enemies and launch a spell at them.
Yeah.
Why that actually doesn't sound entertaining.
it-
This
it's
should
not.
be
It is.
interesting. This
It
doesn't
isn't
sound
at all.
interesting.
No, like here's the thing, right? When someone, it's one of those things. It sounds like it should be interesting, but it isn't. And when you like hear the plot summary for Saga of Tanya the Evil, oh, so there's a 30-year-old office worker who ends up in Magic World War One. It's like, that sounds really dumb. And then you read it and you're like, this is oddly compelling.
I mean, okay, so I will say though, in a what's it called? In a new world with just Monica.
What?
Okay, it is called In Another World with Just Monica. Original character self-insert. It is the world of the Isekai smartphone, but the main character is replaced with the self-insert, who also has a smartphone. But this guy had downloaded the Monica mod for his smartphone to make his like background screen a Monica video and shit like that.
Like from Doki Doki Literature Club?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so when he ends up in the isekai world, Monica does too in the smartphone.
Oof. Now that's a rough
Now,
one for poor Monica.
That sounds entertaining.
It's actually exceedingly entertaining. Yeah, the blue pencil story. Yeah, I'll drop
Do me
a
a
link
favor.
to it.
Link that.
Yeah.
Do.
Like that somewhere. That actually sounds interesting, but like, fuck, I hate when it's like, oh shit, blank person has
It's in
his
fanfiction.
phone and doesn't do anything interesting with it. So like, either don't bring it up or do something with it.
Anyway. So,
Protagonist basically roleplays as Char. Well, now I have to.
Oh, yes, the other thing is, so the protagonist is obviously a big weeb. And he's just like, wait a second. My shirt doesn't exist right now in this time period.
Right.
It is time to capitalism.
I mean, to be honest, isn't that what that's also what the main protagonist did in like their smartphone thing? Like some rich guy was like, "Whoa, those clothes are fucking amazing. Will you sell them to me for a shit ton of gold?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, and then he also does the shitpost meme version of Char as well.
I'm sorry, the
I came here to
shitpost
laugh at you.
meme version of Char.
Yeah.
That's every version of Char.
I don't think you understand what Char does on a day-to-day basis.
I came here to laugh at you.
Not a meme.
No.
Well, I mean, it is a meme, but
The-
not a
yeah.
fabrication. Actual line.
It is, but the context behind the line is also fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
it's one of the
we-
most savage burns in existence.
It's not even a burn. Like the proper context behind the scene is fucking astounding.
What's the proper context for that one?
Have you not seen the scene? Oh my god, would you go watch Zeta already?
No! I'm busy!
God, fuck.
Busy not having a
I will
job.
watch Zeta after I beat Sekiro.
Oh my god.
No,
Oh wait, you haven't beaten Sekiro? Wow, that's
I haven't either. But I'm just
oh,
awful.
that's twice.
no one expects it from you, Sneaky. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
so
I
I expect
honestly,
people
I
like
don't
Sneaky,
either.
after watching you on stream, no one expects you to beat Sekiro. I didn't expect you to beat Lady Butterfly, but she bugged out.
I'm sorry.
So,
Explain.
No, she just kept letting him do the whirlwind slash.
I literally, not even
She had
shitting you,
like I would say, was it like half Sneaky?
45 seconds straight, I just screamed spin to win and just chained whirlwind slash after whirlwind slash.
And she just took him.
I backed her into a corner and she's just sitting there stumbling in the corner.
Like, immensely confused. Like, I'm not sure what's going on.
How? Jesus Christ! I almost want to say, like, did they leave the Bloodborne bug in?
What?
Where if
Don't-
well, if the so when Bloodborne was first released, if you left the game running long enough,
Running for too long.
the AI would get confused and would forget more than 3/4 of its actual scripting, including attack patterns for bosses. So people would go in like, "Oh wow, the cleric beast is super easy because all it did was the single claw swipe and that's it."
Oh,
Wait, are you telling me they had their scripts on a run timer?
No. See, it was a memory leak basically.
Yeah,
Ah.
like
The thing is-
it was a massive memory leak.
Like the longer the PS4 kept running, the more it used memory, and at some point it was just go oh and die. So that was pretty much what happened.
Yeah, no, that's not what happened here. No, and Atin can confirm. She kicked my ass.
Oh, she was beating me. Listen, he has no right to the memory of Lady Butterfly.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, the game would like to disagree with you, apparently.
Yeah, the game liked him so much. It was like
Did
you
the
can
game
just take.
take pity? Like,
You know,
Yeah, just-
considering that he's too stupid to deflect, it might have.
Yeah. Okay. Sneaky.
Look, I
Listen,
try, okay?
spamming L1 works. Do it till
No,
you
I
can.
did, and then Atin's like, no, you can't do that because
No,
you do
because
it
if you
wrong.
just spam it, it won't work.
No,
You
it
won't get
does. That's the weird thing. It kind of does.
Okay,
But it
it's
does
a
I got
really
through half the game using that. It is a really shitty mechanic, though. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
see,
here's
at
the
least
thing,
he
if
agrees with
does
me.
work.
No, here's the thing. If you do it, you won't get consecutive deflections, which is what you need late game.
Yeah, that is true though.
Except I
mean, not
watched
really,
someone get consecutive deflections by spamming it.
Yeah, but that's because they had like a certain rhythm down. It's basically a rhythm game.
Yeah, I know. Dark Souls is a rhythm game.
Yeah.
Dark Souls is like it's like a terror rhythm game. Like,
No,
I got
like,
the beat. I got the beat. Oh god, I lost the beat, and I'm dead.
don't worry, I'm a professional.
Oh, that was the best, you cocky motherfucker.
Your Sneaky literally thinks he's hot shit in Dark Souls. I love it.
Well, no, it was even better. So we beat
No, what happens? We changed the Nameless King. Like we killed him. We were like, oh,
well, yeah,
that
so
was
I was
easy.
just saying, first we beat the Nameless King before he got nerfed.
Yeah, and then
which
we
felt good about.
then we
And
dropped
we
our
were
sign
like,
down.
Oh, we're gonna farm him because he's worth the most souls.
Yeah, we dropped our sign down. We were just helping people after like we have probably killed him 20 times plus that day.
Yeah.
And so I'm justifiably cocky at this point, and I'm entering through the fog gate, and Atin's like, oh, I hope we can help him or something like that. I'm like, don't worry, we're professionals. And as I step through the fog gate, I get immediately one-shot dunked, and then I'm like, I still have a sliver of HP left. Slam!
That's. I like how many good moments there are between you and I playing Dark Souls 1 and Matt playing Dark Souls 3. Like,
And those credits,
fact,
he deserved it. He
Dark Souls 2
100%
Dark
deserved
Souls
it.
2 is the only game that you didn't get immediately fucked over by something in there. Like Dark Souls 1, Ornstein and Smo.
Literally
goes-
stabbed through the fog gate.
Sneaky goes through the gate. The AI had already procced somehow, so the moment he was out of the gate, he was immediately just impaled on Ornstein's spear. And I saw Sneaky pop back out of the gate on the spear, and I'm like, I'll put my sign down, I guess.
The AI fucking despise me.
Like, oh, that's the weird part. Like, Ornstein and Smoke was the only time when the boss AI was especially aggro on you. Usually they would focus on me.
Dark Souls 3 Meteor Fight.
Okay, well, no, we have to explain that our Meteor fight was especially awful because
Oh,
when
God.
we start. Okay, so here's the thing. When we started the DLC, I hadn't bought the DLC pass, so I hadn't. So I'd just been playing a bunch of New Game Pluses. Sneaky, because he's sneaky, had only been playing New Game Plus. So when we went to fight Meteor, we were on New Games 5. No, we were on New Games 6 and 7, respectively.
No, I was 5, you were 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you deserved everything that happened to you as a result.
Oh my god, with
Just wanna put that out
we
there.
we died over 400 times the Meteor.
Ouch.
We eventually reached the point where we were like, we can't do this on New Game Plus 6, so we used Pestilent Mercury.
Oh no.
But no, like there was moments where we're like, oh, he's at low HP. Let's run in and finish him off, and we're
Oh
just
no,
like,
the worst! The
Disco
worst was at one
mode!
point, his AI bugged. He never stopped doing the disco laser.
it was
Like,
just,
no, like we got right up under him, and he just kept disco lasering.
Like, dude, you don't understand though. Like his head is just like freaking snapping back and forth now. The entire area is just covered in exploding lasers, and we're just like, what the hell is happening?
We're like, ah!
Little were you two aware that he part-times the DJ at rave clubs.
Like we were just like, holy shit! What the hell?
Because he didn't stop. He just didn't stop.
Yeah, Meteor was such a tough fight. I had to tell my friends, like, all right, listen, I'm doing this solo white because I don't need you fucking up his patterns right now. I did him solo and beat him on my first try solo. I'm like, there, he's done. Do you guys want help?
Like 90% of Meteor fights as well was Atin screaming, running around, and me trying to do all the magic against him.
Well, because for some reason Meteor hated me. I mean,
He had
violently.
a violent hate boner for Atin.
It reached the point where at one point, one of the runs where we got him to like 90% HP, I was naked with the Dragon Great Shield.
Ouch.
Because he had no endurance, so he couldn't carry anything else?
Well, no, because it was I needed to keep my light roll.
Like, that's what I said, you couldn't carry anything else and keep
Oh,
your light roll.
yeah. So I had the light roll and that. I had the light roll and a great shield.
Look,
I think I only played like Dark Souls twice with Sneaky, and it was probably the most harrowing experience of my life.
Oh god, yes.
When you play with Sneaky, it's not so much as playing with Sneaky as it is babysitting him half the time.
Yeah. No, the best bit was
listen,
like we did a little bit of PvP too.
Listen, never, ever play a strategy game with this jackass.
Oh no, I've seen him try and play strategy games. Try being the important
No.
word here.
Because what I'm talking about is something entirely different. I'm talking about him trying and failing quite miserably to be cooperative in a Total War game.
can you help me out of here? Yeah, I'll get to you. 30 turns later. Who the fuck is your army? I haven't made it yet.
Sneaky's it makes for a very interesting co-op partner. Like,
now, to be fair, when he did eventually help me take over Japan, it was the American Christians with the Horse Lords who had such a strong economy and so much food that they were paving their roads with bricks of golden rice.
Oh my god, that one ninja who literally spent 80 years in the capital of Japan killing the
New Shogun
village.
comes in, dead. New Shogun comes in, dead.
Literally every turn a new shogun would be appointed, and this 80-year-old ninja by this point would be killing them every single turn.
that's a fucking badass.
Oh,
Thank
wait, hold
you.
on. Have we told the wondrous story of King Dag on stream?
I don't think we've ever
Not on
told.
stream.
I don't think
No,
we've ever
not
told
that
the
I
story of
recall.
King Dag on stream. No. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up, tell the story of King Dag, and then we'll call it a night. So, blah blah blah, stupid shit. The author doesn't know what they're doing. She's at Hogwarts now. Blah blah blah. Oh.
Oh.
The main character proceeds to flirt with female Harry Potter?
I just went to Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer's thing. He literally went anonymous to write a review. Like, he thinks he's slick, this motherfucker. He went anonymous to write a review deriding me.
On your story?
No, on his own story, because apparently he can't do it anymore.
He wrote a review for his
Anyway.
own story pretending to be what, us?
Pretending to be him, like just being anonymous, but being dumb.
Okay. Anyway, so blah 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 words, shitty narrative words, doesn't make sense words, stupid stuff words, I have a wand that's a ring. Alright, now we've got that covered. Time for King Dag. Which, by the way, this background image is exceedingly appropriate.
Oh, sup, Izuku.
So the story of King Dag. This is taking place in Total War Attila. And King Dag...
I was going to say, after this, we will also tell the story of the governmentless barbarian horde.
was it the French?
No.
No,
I was the
you're
Saxon.
the Saxons. Yeah,
But
they're the
yes,
French, yeah.
anyway, continue.
Right, so anyway, what happened is that King Dag is your starting king, and typically your starting king's like around 50 when your game starts.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take ish. And so time's passing by, stuff's happening. King Dag is very prolific at having children. Exceedingly prolific at having
This
children.
would later become a problem.
For Atin.
Yes! We'll get to that.
And so he's having a lot of kids, and he's having kids out of wedlock. He's having kids in wedlock. His wives are. He had like 5 wives. They all died of old age.
He outlived every single one of them too. And there was no assassinations, mind you. They just died. They just straight
they
died.
tried.
of old
No,
age.
there was an assassination attempt or two. They just failed.
Oh no, I'm saying on his wives.
So yeah, they just died of old age. So King Dag here, right? He's around the age of like 92 at this point. By the end, he has lived so long, and he was my main front runner for my army for so long that he acquired every positive attribute and every negative attribute, and he got so old to the point where the game gave him the crippled,
blind,
crippled
infertile,
elder.
you name it.
Yeah, I got a notice. King Dag has become decrepit or something like that, and King Dag gains crippled, which is -10 to every stat. Blind, which is minus more stats. Infertile, and decrepit, and so he's like -10 to public order. He is actively a detriment to my kingdom at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
now,
so Sneaky decides I have to get rid of this man.
and so I'm like, all right, fine. So I start some wars, and I just throw King Dag into battle after battle, trying to get him killed. And his
By the way,
army,
he was giving him shit tier armies too.
and his army was just so buffed by King Dag at this point. They were unstoppable. They were just plowing through people. So I finally get into a 3v1. 3 enemy armies versus my 1 army. And I'm like, okay. And I pull my whole army back and I send King Dag forward to face their army.
King Dag and his guard.
King Dag kills half of their army before I'm like, okay, holy shit. King Dag might solo the enemy armies.
Now the reason King Dag's prolificness became a problem was way back at some point in the game.
Well, hold on, I
King
didn't finish.
Oh, right, I'm sorry.
So, at the end, I was like, alright, you know what? I have to give him a Viking funeral. There's like 25% of the enemy's 3 armies left. And so I have all 6 of my catapults fire exploding fire rounds on King Dag's position. And I just incinerate the entire area. King Dag finally dies a Viking death, killing 3 fucking armies.
I'm surprised he wasn't upgraded to God King status at some point, honestly.
It was just
The
like,
God
Jesus
King
Christ,
Dag.
please die.
Oh, hey, Birdie just showed up.
Hello, Birdie.
Oh, good, Birdie, you've
Oh,
shown up
we
for
can start the
the
podcast.
Bernie
bonus story.
Sanders.
Anyway, so, go ahead,
So
Atin.
the reason King Dag's prolific child rearing became a problem was at some point King Dag asked his Saxon allies for a wife to cement the marriage, and because she was the daughter of my High King, I was like, and she had a bunch of bonuses, I was like, ah, cool, sure, whatever, I'll help my boy Dag out. Now this became a problem because Dag had so many children with this woman.
So many fucking kids.
He had like 8 kids with her alone.
Like,
Oh,
Dag
because King
died
Dag
with
was-
like 15 kids.
Because here's the thing, right? Dag was fertile, and so was she.
Dag was fertile, alright.
Also the horniest bastard ever.
Holy shit, was he fertile? Anyway.
But so it became a problem because my High King died,
Alright.
and all of his children descendants died, so then it reverted to the wife's line. I no longer had control of her.
Yeah, so what happened is but the reason why all of his guys died is because he was in the middle of like a 5-way war,
And Sneaky was being his usual unhelpful self.
which means I was slowly creeping towards him.
Yes, but
Alright, that makes sense.
basically I was playing panic defense. Like, smack one army away, oh shit, here comes another one, smack the other one away, oh god, here
I
comes
need
one
your
more.
help, Sneaky. I can't help you. Why? I have to kill my king. He won't die. But no, like literally he was losing army after army, and like every single royal line was just dying in these battles.
Meanwhile, Dag.
Like, I was, like, trying to protect them, but, like, I couldn't keep them out of the fight. Like, I had to use them. I needed every general I could get.
And it got to the point where literally all that was left was King Dag's wife, who was not under Atin's control.
And so, for the rest of time, because that line never died out.
Well, not only that, she didn't die out, because she lived to like 100-something.
Yeah, which was its own problem. But so I couldn't do any political stuff because I had no king.
Or royal line.
And so the Saxons continued into, like, the medieval era, completely lawless.
He had so many debuffs.
Like, public order debuffs. No, actually, I had a bunch of public order bonuses because everybody was like, I can do whatever I want. This is the best.
Oh, that's right, because the control was at 0 because you didn't have anyone.
But I also had, like, minus 30% on my taxes because every local governor was just shoveling money to themselves because they're like, ain't nobody checking my tax returns. However, that giant pile of money would later go on to bite us in the ass because the Huns arrived. And we paid the Huns collectively, I think it was like
$500,000.
literally $1 million gold.
It was $500,000 in the end.
No, but it was $500,000 each.
Oh, that's true, yeah. They had like
We were, like
17 armies, and we're just like,
well,
oh,
so here's the thing, the Huns showed up, and the Huns were causing us problems. And we were like, oh, Jesus Christ, we need them to go somewhere else. We do not have time. We have rebellions, we have to deal with the remains of the Eastern Roman Empire. So we just
And the
paid the
West.
Huns to leave. And we gave them enough money to be our friends, and then we gave them more money, and we told them, hey, why don't you go fuck with Western Rome? And the Huns were like, got it, buddy. Later, we would arrive at Western Rome to find 17 Hun armies.
Full armies.
With like,
Max
tier units, right?
And we were just like, oh, shit.
The only reason we beat them was because I used biological warfare. One of my armies caught the Black Plague,
And so he
and I
brought it
just
to the Huns.
had them hide in a settlement with the Black Plague, surrounded by the Hun armies.
And all of the Hun armies got the Black Plague.
And so when they were finally all crippled and dying from the Black Plague, Sneaky and me showed up with our actual armies to fight them. And so even though they had 17 armies, every unit only had like 6 dudes, because everyone else was dead from the fucking plague.
We're the best at video games.
And that was how the Huns were defeated, with the bubonic plague.
Oh, Total War games are funny.
Oh, there was also the time. This one isn't any particularly special stories, but there was the time the Wood Elves teamed up with the Empire to kill everything.
The murder trees. The murder trees.
Oh,
teamed
right.
up
I'm
with
sorry. The
Empire.
murder trees, including a punitive expedition where we refused to end the game until we had conquered every Norsican settlement.
That worked. We are truly master tacticians. Damn straight, we're master tacticians.
Champions of the realm.
Well, anyway, that is
think that's
all
good.
for tonight. I hoped our meandering and educational content, along with our meandering and improvisational story content, was enough to distract you from the horrifyingly piss-poor stories we had selected tonight. I know they certainly distracted us.
There were some bad ones.
So,
Some.
if you want possibly more of this, usually it's not this bad. Usually we're actually pretty good about covering the stories, but sometimes they're just so bad we get bored and move on to other unstory-related things. But regardless, if you want more of this, what you gotta do is smash that like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell, thingle-a-dingles. Just kidding. Don't do any of that.
Do actually subscribe, though. God, we need money.
Yes, we do need money. That would be neat. That would be neat if we had money. But regardless of that, we are here every Tuesday and Friday. Well, I'm here every Tuesday and Friday.
I'm
From
here
7
most
p.m.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
to
Speaking
9
of which, since I
p.m.
quit my
-ish.
other job, I will be here for the foreseeable future now.
Neat.
How many jobs did you have?
2.
Yeah. I quit the one at the video
7
store.
p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. I guess daylight savings time now. Daylight savings time.
Oh, good. At least
So
Isley
come
had
on
fun
back because there's always more and it always gets